BITCHSLAP. Welcome back to the channel. Things have officially gone crazy.
Simply open this unassuming box, and in just 3 seconds, 99% of the dust in your home will be as successful.
Wait, we gotta talk about this. Because, yeah, this is gonna be the most craziest thing you will ever hear. Okay?
And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Guys, it's been a chaotic 12 hours or so as we found out the news with regard to a school in London where an individual essentially went in and stabbed two people, two children, and of course shouted Allah Akbar whilst doing so. And a day after that, of course, Shadiq Khan did come out and respond to it. However, there has been another video that has taken up much more of his time, as Khan has helped launch the British Muslim Trust. Yes, this organisation, in my opinion, is dedicated on purely religious and ethnic grounds to helping Muslims get into politics and get people arrested for Islamophobia. You'll hear him talk a lot of nonsense during these speeches that we're going to be listening to in today's video. But of course, there is always a grey line. It's all about victimhood being Islamic, and of course, Shadiq Khan pandering to those people. But it's just another Muslim organization, and I certainly do believe that we live in some dangerous, dangerous times in the United Kingdom. Now, we are going to take a little look at this video, guys, but as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So, as you can see here, Shadiq Khan says London and Britain wouldn't be successful or be as successful as it is today without British Muslims. Now, this is a very interesting point here because, like Shadiq, in most times that he's putting out information, is all misinformed. What data does he have to suggest that Britain would not be the success that it is today without Muslims? It's just complete null and void. I don't know where he's getting this data from. Let's have a listen to this.
Story about the immense contribution we've made to the country, our country. Because the truth is that neither London or Britain would be as successful as they are today without us. How could you listen to the news in the morning without hearing Michelle Hussein and Faisal Islam? Or settle in for some evening telly without Nadia Hussein, Rizalid, or Gus Khan? Story about the immense.
So, I mean,
if you really want to know my opinion on this matter, this is grade A bigotry towards Caucasian people, or just anti-Semitism towards Jewish people, which I know everyone's kind of upset at Israel because of them also wanting to take away internet freedom, which honestly reasonable take, but also this whole started because people in power wanted to get involved in a war that is more of a tribal instinct, and clearly we shouldn't have gotten involved. In fact, the only party that I trust with Muslims in it is the Reform UK party. and they are going to be one of the good ones. And I've heard that Events UK is not a party that I want to vote for, personally. If I was allowed to vote, still trying to figure something out. But I will say this. If the leader is misogynistic, who's to say he's not also misandrous? I don't know. I just feel like Events UK, like, all the other parties seems like a tribal battleground at this point.
It's an interesting thing. I know Shadiq constantly always meddles around with facts and stuff like that all the time when it comes down to London. But how can he come out there and say that London and England or Britain wouldn't be as successful as it is without British Muslims? I don't understand where he's making that point. I know he's at a trust here, launching a trust, but I don't know where he's getting that claim from. So he gave.
Like, is he talking about Britain not being successful with curries because Queen Victoria had an advisor from India or something? I don't know, man. I might have to look it up.
Two examples there at the start of two news hosts. How would we get that? Well, we'd get the news from somebody else, like we have had done for hundreds of years. Like, what kind of saying is that? I don't get what he's saying with regard to that. It's just complete. It's complete bullshit. To be quite frank. Now, of course, as stated, he did launch this British Muslim Trust, and this was his speech, so to speak.
Look, I don't want to sugarcoat things. For many British Muslims, these are deeply worrying times. That's why the launch of the British Muslim Trust is such an important moment. The BMT is already, as you heard, supporting victims of anti-Muslim hatred, ensuring that no one in our communities need to suffer in silence.
What anti-Muslim hatred? You know what? You know what? Fuck it. I know a lot of people might probably hate me for saying this, but somebody needs to go ahead and fucking say it. Trump needs to do to London. No, not London. Trump needs to do to Shadiq Khan what he has done to Maduro at this point. Because clearly, we need someone who is not racist, like Zia Yusuf, in charge of London or something. Oh wait, we are getting a more competent person later on. I forgot. We need a more competent person, and the Reform UK Party has a candidate for that, and she's in the same party with Zia Yusuf, you know what I mean? Like, you want to talk about racism and bigotry? We have people getting arrested for quote-unquote hate crimes, for quote-unquote Islamophobia. It's always victim blaming with these motherfuckers.
Confronting the indifference which has stymied the struggle against Islamophobia for far too long. By rigorously monitoring hatred, the BMT are providing decision makers like Nieta, Nurse, and Sarah, and the police with the raw data they need to take action. And we've got to back them. We've got to back them by reporting every hate crime we witness, because we can't allow our communities to be defined only by the...
You want to talk about fucking hate crime? Really? How many of you cowards kill people just because you're anti-Semitic? Huh? No, I'm done. I'm done. We cannot afford to wait for a vote. I said it once, I'll say it again. Trump needs to do to Shadiq Khan what he did to Maduro. Because the only hatred I see is coming from his side. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
prejudice they face. Instead, we must also tell a positive story. A story of progress, a story of integration, and a story of hope. This is the...
Yeah, that's why Zia Yusuf has decided to join Reform UK and not any other party with Muslims that want to be terrorists. And not just him. There are plenty of others. This is... No, dude. This is bang out of order. If this continues, the President of the United States needs to come over here. Or better yet, bring American boots to British soil and arrest this vile, vile man. And anyone who defends him. I don't care. I don't care. I'm done. I am fucking done with these people.
Story that the British Muslim Trust will tell, of people who are both proud of the God they worship and proud of the place where they've built their lives. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Why are photographers ditching their expensive cameras for this NASA super zoom lens? Because it clips on your...
For me, this is totally insane. This guy prides himself on talking about division and not trying to divide us. Now, this just seems like a ploy to pander towards Muslims. And, he mentioned Islamophobia a hell of a lot there. And as we know already in this country, there is a fine line between what is Islamophobia and what is not. Now, under the Labour government, Angela Rayner tried to bring in a definition for it, which would not allow criticism. And again, it's a very, 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 very broad brush when we're talking about Islamophobia, because they will say anything that you question about the religion is Islamophobic. And this same trust will then alert police and report this as a hate crime. Now, it has happened for far too long with Islam inside the United Kingdom, is that they constantly want to be the victims at all times, and you can't critique nor have a discussion about their religion. Now, that's why they've always wanted to bring in these Islamophobia laws. So you
can't question them when they kill Jewish people. So you can't question them when they rape your sons and daughters. So you can't question them when they beat you up and try to hurt you and everything in between because you wouldn't wear a hijab or a burqa. All the more reason for this man to get the Maduro treatment. All the more reason for Shadiq Khan to get the Maduro treatment. I am done. I am done. Let me be clear. For a long time now, I drew a line, a metaphorical line in the sand. And I would be there to make sure it didn't break. And that no one would be harmed through crossing over from that line. That man not only maimed the people's trust in a better society there in London, over a non-reform UK government, and now I've decided to leave. And you know what? Good for me, because I never fucking liked the matriarchy anyway. Yep, these people can complain all they want about patriotism and the injustice. Centuries long injustices that white people like me apparently did. But they're not seeing the good either. Like, in Britain, we used to stop slave trades. Now we're bringing them back? Because of these people? Hell no. Hell no, man. The day Zia Yusuf is in charge of making sure that people fully understand that racism of any kind is illegal, the better. All the more reason for a reform UK government, I say.
Now, that's why they've always wanted to bring in these Islamophobia laws. So you can't do this. And this is just yet another thing to try and push towards closing down conversation about their religion, which no other laws are in place or trusts are in place to protect Christians like that, Jews like that, Hindus like that, etc., etc. It's just sort of one mandate for them. Now, Sadiq always talks about Islam being the pure and utter victim. It's also there, and people have a conversation about Islam simply because the statistics, I know Sadiq likes to fiddle around with statistics and he never brings facts to the forefront, but 80% of terror cases inside the United Kingdom are, of course, from Islamic extremists. So that in itself, there has to be a conversation, there has to be critique with his religion or Islam as a whole. You should be able to have a conversation about a religion. If that is the statistics that, of course, MI5 and the Home Office are reporting on. Now, of course, he takes so much passion into protecting and stopping these conversations and dubbing them as hate crime that, again, he will even pander towards blocking any speculation or any criticism towards the Pakistani grooming gangs. That's, again, an inquiry is being headed up by Rupert Lowe. And some of the revelations that we are actually hearing right now are utterly disgusting. Now, this guy has not spent any time whatsoever since being London mayor actually calling this stuff out. He always wants to try and band it together with everything else. This is a whole different thing. And this is yet another thing where they or he doesn't want to take accountability for those people's actions for what they did. And this isn't about every Muslim. Absolutely not. But
if every Muslim who doesn't want to be a terrorist supports Reform UK, then I fucking welcome them. But we will not allow terrorists to replace them or anyone else who wants to be meaningful and have conversations about things that they are worried about. We've seen the ads from the Home Office telling us we are radicalized by noticing society and the reality of what's happening to it. Well, I say lying to us is not good enough. It never was. Not even fucking close. And I think we need people to see reality more. We need more people to see reality of a situation. And if they can't wake the fuck up about it, well, they're too lost in the sauce for that. Clearly. But the social project and just the matriarchy in general, it's a failed experiment. And it always has. If the far left pipeline has groomers and pedophiles and other groups such as terrorists, which, let's be clear, this man has clearly telling the truth with Shadiq Khan defending them, so I don't know, man. If I had to choose between the matriarchy or the patriarchy, I'd choose the patriarchy. More and more each day.
Has to be conversations to be had surrounding, in particular instances, in that religion. Why were these Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs? Why were they doing this? Why were they doing that? Why did the religion have something to do with it? Why are 80% of terrorism offences in the United Kingdom committed by radicalized Islam? These are the conversations that Shadiq and these people and the Muslim Trust want to try and avoid and dub as hate speech. Remember, we've already got a crazy suppression of free speech in our country, and this is yet another line. This new trust that he's heading up is a huge problem. But yet again, it doesn't surprise me with Shadiq Khan.
Yeah, we need a reform UK government, and we need to burn that man's stupid plan to silence hatred towards death and rape to the ground. And I'm sorry. Again, Britain can't afford to wait for a general election while we have terrorists running around like this. He needs to go. He really does.
He says one thing on one side and talks about not dividing, but then brings this in just to protect one certain religion. It's absolutely insane to me, especially a day after of what's happened at a school in London. He is the mayor of London, and again, for a very, very long time, he's not taking any accountability on the rising knife crime, and of course, won't call out the religion once again, despite, of course, a terrorism probe going in to why this individual shouted Allah Akbar as he stabbed two students. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on Shadiq down there in the comment section below. And as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more.
Now, I want you to truly understand this, okay? This is not fair and it is not right.